We have the Bengals taking on the Ravens. This is your Week 5 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start off with the Cincinnati Bengals because they are the home team. They finally got their first win last week against the Carolina Panthers, and everything is starting to flow with this team. The first two games, they came out there stumbling. They didn't look as good. And game number 3 against the Washington Commanders, we saw Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow starting to click, and the same with T. Higgins as well, as he missed the first 2 games of the regular season dealing with a hamstring injury. Last week, it was all about Jamar Chase and getting big plays. He had 3 catches for 85 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. One of the plays was one of the best plays you'll see all season long. The defenders could not tackle Jamar Chase. He takes it up the field. It goes for a 63-yard touchdown. T. Higgins was sorely missed when he was missing games. He had 6 catches for 60 receiving yards last week, and Ishi Vash had 1 catch for 29 receiving yards as well. Continue to ride off of Joe Burrow and the success that he's been having in the last couple of games. But I would like to see the running game get going as well. Mix that in with some play action. Chase Brown had 80 rushing yards last week, 2 rushing touchdowns. Zach Moss, 51 rushing yards last week. Continue to run the football, play complementary football. They were not able to do that in weeks 1 and week 2. Week 3, they tried to, but they got into a shootout with the Washington Commanders. In this game against the Ravens, this is a heated division rivalry. You have to go out there and you have to play complementary football. Run the football. The offensive line has to do very good in protection as well. Last week, Joe Burrow got sacked 0 times. That's the key to victory. You're going against one of the toughest defenses in the NFL. Kyle Van Noy is second in sacks in the NFL. You have to watch out for him, and also be on the lookout for David Ojabo as well, because if you cannot protect Joe Burrow, that's when the Ravens are at their best. So offensively, you have the weapons to go out there, test out that secondary. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. It's going to come down to the coaching with Zach Taylor, getting the football out quick if the heat is going to be on Joe Burrow, and expect this as well. Expect for the Bengals to run some screens with Chase Brown because he has breakaway speed. And the same with Jamar Chase as well if the Baltimore Ravens want to go out there and blitz. I don't expect for the Ravens to go out there and blitz as much because Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. And when you look at Lamar Jackson, he's gotten better at defeating the blitz as well with his arm and with his legs. When I look at the defense for the Cincinnati Bengals, they've been struggling. Even though they came away with a win last week, Chuba Hubbard averaged 6 yards a carry. He had 104 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. The week before that, they did a solid job against the Commanders, but Jaden Daniels had a rushing touchdown. You also look at Austin Eckler before he got hurt with that concussion. He was getting a lot of yardage on them. We go back to week 1. Ramondre Stevenson, he did fumble the football. They gave up a lot of rushing yards. They have to stop the run in this game. Don't just go all out to stop the run because Lamar Jackson can beat you over top with weapons like Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, and Zay Flowers. Just because Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely aren't having crazy seasons right now does not mean that they're not elite weapons. You still want to take accountability for those guys, especially in man or zone coverage, but they have to do a better job against the run. And it's not like the Cincinnati Bengals linebackers are bad. They have good players in their linebacking room. Just right now, they're having a tough time with their defensive front by going out there and stopping the run as a whole. If you cannot stop Derrick Henry and you cannot stop Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a long day for the Bengals. You're going to be in another shootout like how you were against the Washington Commanders on Monday night, and you do not want to be in that situation. So I'm looking at these defensive tackles. They have to go out there and they have to just contain the run. Don't just fully sell out for it because Lamar Jackson can take off. The same with Derrick Henry. Just keep Lamar Jackson inside the pocket. A lot of his crazy plays happen outside the pocket. This is going to be a great game for guys like Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson to step up. Trey Hendrickson is questionable for this game, but he is expected to play in this game. He hurt his neck. He was limited in practice, but he's scheduled to be okay for Sunday's big matchup. I'm looking at Jermaine Pratt as well, who is also questionable. He's on pace to play as well. And I'm looking at Logan Wilson to go out there. The linebackers are very good. I'm just worried about the defensive tackles in this matchup, and they are thin at that position. As far as the secondary, the Baltimore Ravens, they have a solid pass game with Todd Monken. I'm not going to disrespect them, but their strength is their run game. The cornerbacks cannot get too cute in this game. If it's play action, do not fall for it over and over again, which is going to be hard to do. We've seen Lamar Jackson have great success off of play action. Last season with Todd Monken, it's the reason why he's a reigning league MVP. You have to go out there with Cam Taylor-Britt, Geno Stone, and Von Bell, and you have to watch those tight ends, and you have to watch Zay Flowers as well. Because if you can't watch those guys, it's going to be a long day for this secondary. And the secondary stepped up last week against Andy Dalton and the Carolina Panthers. But this is a different ball game. You're facing Lamar Jackson with that speed. He's not a stationary target like Andy Dalton. Now let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Not only did the Bengals come away with their first win last week, the Ravens, they're on the roll. They went out there, they dominated the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys were making noise in the fourth quarter, but the Ravens still won the game. And we saw what happened last week. The Buffalo Bills, undefeated. The Ravens go in, they punch them in their mouth. And they won the game 35-10 by playing smash mouth football. Derrick Henry's first carry of the day went for 87 yards. He did have a fumble in the game, and the same with Lamar Jackson. They have to take care of the football. That's the first key to victory. We know what the Ravens want to do. They want to go out there, run the football with Lamar Jackson, run the football with Derrick Henry, and get things going up the middle. And they should, because the Bengals are struggling against stopping the run right now. Run the football over and over again and dumb down the penalties as well. Lamar Jackson was phenomenal last week, besides having that fumble. He was 13 of 18. He also had 156 passing yards, very efficient, 2 passing touchdowns. He had 2 passing touchdowns, and also a rushing touchdown as well. That's 3 touchdowns on the day. Continue to let Lamar Jackson play his game and feed Derrick Henry. Do not get into a situation to where it's 3rd and long. Always keep it 3rd and short by running the football. We saw what happened against the Kansas City Chiefs. They try to go out there and they try to make Lamar Jackson a passer. He is a very good quarterback and he can pass the ball down the field, but he's at his best when he's able to use his legs, and the same with Derrick Henry as well. Let those guys run the football and run the offense off their backs. When I look at a guy like Zay Flowers, last week, did not do much. He had 1 catch for 10 yards, and that's okay because you won the game. But if need be, stretch the field out with him. Justice Hill was the leading receiver last week, and he's a running back. He had 6 catches, 78 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Get him going as well. You have Isaiah Likely, Rashard Bateman. You also have Mark Andrews as well. Do not be forced into a situation to where you have to force these guys to football. That should not be the case. Right now, the main objective is to run the football and throw it to the open man, whether it's a guy like Nelson Aguilar or Rashard Bateman. That's the key to victory for the Ravens, taking care of the football and feeding the hot hand, whether it's a running back in space, whether it's Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely. I feel like a lot of people look at the Ravens, they say they have all these offensive weapons, and you're not featuring Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely. That's okay. As long as you're winning the football game, that's all that matters at the end of the day. You can also test out the secondary of the Cincinnati Bengals. If the run game is not going, if they have Zay Flowers in a one-on-one situation, I can see him getting behind the cornerbacks of the team with the Cincinnati Bengals, especially in their secondary. And be on lookout for Geno Stone. He's a former safety for the Baltimore Ravens. He knows the tendencies. He went against Lamar Jackson a lot in practice, and he had 7 interceptions last season. And he has yet to go out there and have a big-time game just yet for the Bengals. And you know that he's going to want to have a lot of revenge against the Baltimore Ravens. When I look at the defense for the Ravens, last week was great. They went out there and they made one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL look average. They held Josh Allen to just 180 passing yards last week, and they also went out there and they stopped the run of James Cook. You want to put a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow. You don't want to blitz much in this game because, like I mentioned before, Joe Burrow is phenomenal against the blitz. But lucky for the Baltimore Ravens, you have a guy in Kyle Van Noy, 6 sacks on the season, 1 forced fumble. He also was able to go out there and read that trick play last week. The Bills try to run a trick play. He knocks the football out of Josh Allen's hands. It goes for a fumble. You have to have those type of key plays in this game. You want to contain the run, but you want to get into a situation to where you put a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow, and you want to press up on the wide receivers. And why am I saying press up on wide receivers like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? The Ravens have a very good secondary, and they can get physical. Will they give up a big play here and there? Sure. But it's not going to be too many times in this game, especially the pass rush can get in the face of a guy like Joe Burrow. And I look at the linebackers as well. They have one of the best linebackers in the NFL in Roquan Smith. He has been phenomenal. I look at Trent Simpson as well. Hasn't done much just yet, but in limited opportunity, he has done very well. You also have Kyle Hamilton, who can play slot cornerback, free safety, strong safety. You could put him at outside corner as well. Pay attention to what Zachary Orr is going to try to cook up to go against the offense of Zach Taylor. This is going to be a very fun football game to watch. It's going to be physical. With that being said, the Bengals, they still need to rack up some wins. And I look at the Ravens. They lost against the Raiders. They also had another tough loss against the Chiefs to kick off the season. They're in a situation right now to where they're still trying to figure things out, and they're trying to figure themselves out as well and trying to figure out a winning formula. But I do have the Baltimore Ravens winning this game, but it's going to be in very close fashion. I have the Ravens winning this game 28-23. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game? The Baltimore Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.